Hello everybody, my name is Jigdish. So in this session, we would study about the conventional energy sources. So what are the examples for conventional energy sources? So we have to study in detail. The conventional energy sources are nothing but the sources which have been using since a long time. So and most of them are pollutants and exhaustible. What is the example for the conventional energy source? So which we have been using since long back or long time. So in villages for cooking purpose or in cities also. So they were using the wood for all burning purposes. So next, so mainly, so we are using the fossil fuels. The fossil fuels, so these are the energy rich substances, so which are formed by the plants, animals and microorganisms which were buried by layers of rock from millions of years ago under the earth's surface. So here the fossil fuels are the energy rich substances which contains the hydrocarbons. So it is nothing but hydrogen and carbon components. So here, so these are formed by the dead animals and plants from millions of years ago. So these fossil fuels are formed. So now the fossil fuels means, what is fossils? So that is the dead animals and plants, so which is buried inside the earth is generally known as a fossil. The fuels means, so what we are using to burning or for cooking or for many uses, so that is the fuel. So fossil fuels, so for example the coal, petroleum, oil and natural gases, so all these are generally called as fossil fuels. The formation of the fossil fuels depends on the what combination of organic matter was present and how long ago it was buried and what under what temperature and pressure so this has existed. So based on this, so we have different types of fossil fuels. So that is in what place and what composition, if it is there in the oceans or in the under the earth surface, so under the rock, so that depends. So that decides the coal, petroleum, oil or natural gas. So today the fossil fuels industries drill the mines for these energy sources to produce electricity and transportation purposes. So now, so first we have to study about the coal. So here the coal is so non-renewable energy source, and coal is a combustible black sedimentary rock with a huge amount of hydrocarbons. So it was formed billions of or millions of years ago before the dinosaurs era. So mainly the giant plants and animals are dead in swamps. Swamps means, so that is a dense forest. Coal is a non-renewable energy source. Here the coal, so it is non-renewable means, so once it is depleted or once it is finished, so we cannot get back again. So because the coal is a main energy source for combustion or to produce the electricity, so in our India and all over the world. So all these animals and plants after millions of years, so that converted into coal. So what we are using now, here the coal can be classified into three types, that is the lignite coal, bituminous coal and anthracite coal. So this lignite coal is, so what we are observing in the figure, so it contains so nearly 25% to 35% of carbon content, and it is a high moisture, it contains high moisture. So it means that it has less quality, it produces less amount of heat energy, the heating value or combustion value is less. So it is generally, so this lignite coal is used to produce the electricity only. So bituminous coal. So this bituminous coal is mostly, it contains the 45% to 86% of carbon content, and the moisture is also less compared to lignite coal. So it can be used to produce the electricity, and also it is used in the cement and the steel industries to produce some to produce the heat. And anthracite coal. So anthracite coal, so it has nearly more than 80% carbon components. So its moisture is very less. So that's why. So this is the good quality of coal. So this can be used to produce the electricity also, and also we are using so in some industries. So in a steel industry, aluminium or cement industry. So in all the metal industries also, so we are using the anthracite coal to produce the electricity or to produce the heat energy. Here, so this is the lignite, bituminous and anthracite coals are generally, so we are using all over the world and also in India. So nearly more than 70% of energy generation is belongs to coal only. So our India is most depend upon this coal energy production only. So here Dhanbad or Jharkhand is the largest coal mines in India. It produces nearly 27.5 million tons per year. And also, so we can find the coal mines or coal reservoirs. So in other districts like Jharkhand, Odisha, Chhattisgarh, West Bengal, and Madhya Pradesh, etc. So there are more than 350 coal mines in our India. So how to produce the electricity from the coal mines? So here the heat can be produced by combustion of the coal, so which is used to convert the water into high pressure steam, so which drives a turbine and which produces electricity. So this is the basic principle to produce the electricity. So first one is there is a turbine, and the turbine is connected to a generator. So first we have to produce the energy to run the turbine. So from that turbine the generator produces electricity. So how to produce the heat energy, that is the important here. So here by using different types of fuels, so we can produce the heat energy. So here, so in this coal mine working, so we are generating or we are producing the heat energy by the combustion of coal. So we can see the picture of that coal mine also. Now the petroleum products. The petroleum product is, it is a crude oil or petroleum is a liquid fossil fuel which is made up of hydrocarbons. Here the petroleum is also consists of hydrocarbon, but in a different way. So it is in coal, so we have the hydrocarbon in a solid form, but in petroleum, so we have hydrocarbon in a liquid form. The oil means that is a petroleum oil only. That is, the petroleum oil can be found underground reservoirs in the cracks or the poles of sedimentary rocks. So it is generally the petroleum products are so available inside the ocean or inside the sedimentary rocks of the earth also. The petroleum is formed so from the buried marine plants and animals millions of years ago. So here it may be coal or petroleum, so that is formed millions of years ago only. So petroleum is also found so beneath the land and oceans. So here, so what we are observing in this figure is, so that is the mining of petroleum. The derivatives of petroleums. So there are so many derivatives of petroleum products. So under that, there is the main thing is petrol. So what we are using to our vehicles, so that is the petrol plays a major important role in our day-to-day life. So here the petrol is a derivative product of a crude oil, so it is not used in a crude form. Different additives are added like ethanol to use the fuels for passenger vehicles. So here the petrol is also called as gasoline. So in US or United States or Latin countries, so we are using the word gasoline. But in Asian countries and Europe countries, so we are using this as a petrol. And diesel fuel is also derived from the crude oil mined from the earth itself. So in the refining process that separates them into various types of the fuels. So here, so diesel means it is having the more density compared to the petrol. So in the refining process, the diesel can be separated from the petrol. So here this diesel is having the more density, and combustion, it gives a more energy. So diesel evaporates slower compared to petrol. So means it has more efficiency than petrol. And derivatives of petroleum. So this is very interesting thing. So what we are using in our day-to-day life, so all those belongs to petroleum products only. So it may be brush and comb, hair color and nail polish, it is a dentures and lipstick, perfume, moisturizer, lip balm, toothpaste, deodorants and capsule, vitamin capsules, shaving cream, soap, so shampoo, all these are derivatives of petroleum only. And one more fossil fuel is natural gas. The natural gas is a naturally occurring hydrocarbon. So it contains mainly methane, and also it contains other forms of alkanes, carbohydrates, nitrogen, sulfur, etc. So all these are, so there is inside the natural gas itself, but it mainly contains methane. So natural gases generally we are using in cooking purpose. So natural gas, that is in LPG, liquid petroleum gas. It has the burning temperature of 1950 degrees Celsius, which is the byproduct of petroleum itself. And a liquid natural gas, so it is so around minus 260 degrees Celsius, so it becomes a liquid. So natural gas mining or petroleum oil mining or coal mining, so all are works on the same principle. So that is, heat can be produced by burning or by combustion of fossil fuels like natural gas or petroleum products or a coal, so which is used to convert the water into high pressure steam, which runs the turbine or which drives the turbine, which produces electricity. Now advantages of fossil fuels are the large amount of electricity can be produced by using the coal. The transporting of oil and gas is easy. Petrol and diesels are used as fuel for the vehicles. So without petrol and diesels, we cannot imagine the vehicles also. Nowadays, the petrol and diesels are most essential things in our day-to-day life. The thermal power plants or thermal power stations can be built anywhere. So these are the advantages of fossil fuels. So disadvantages means, so this fossil fuels makes the pollution to the environment. It releases more carbon dioxide, more sulfur dioxide, more carbon monoxide, and it produces greenhouse gases also. So that's why this is pollutant. So we can call it as creates or it makes the pollution to the environment. The burning coal produces the sulfur dioxide, which contributes to acid rain, and oil spilling in ocean causes death to marine animals, and mining destroys the large area and creates pollution. And major disadvantages is, so this fossil fuels are exhaustible and it can be depleted after a usage of 100 or 150 years. So this will get over, or after the depletion of this petroleum or natural gas or coal, so we cannot reproduce it again. So that is a major drawback of these fossil fuels. And next one is, in the conventional energy source, the nuclear energy also plays very important role. So in nuclear energy, that is, nuclear energy means we know that the atom consists of a nucleus. In that nucleus, so we have the proton and neutron. So disintegration of the proton or disintegration of the nucleus creates energy, or it releases energy. So that process is called as a fission reaction. So here the controlled fission of heavier unstable atom such as uranium-235, thorium-232 and artificial element plutonium-239, so which releases large amount of heat energy. So here in uranium there is a 238 also, but we are not using this as a radioactive element. So we are using the only uranium-235 to produce the heat energy or to produce the electricity. So here the production of the electricity or the production of energy is same process. The heat is produced by the nuclear fusion reaction of the atoms, so of the fissionable materials like uranium-235, so is utilized to heat the water. So because of that heat, so the water gets converted into steam. So after that steam turns the turbine, that turbine which is connected to a generator, so that generator, it produces electricity. So this is the same process, but energy production in a different ways we are doing. So this is the figure of this nuclear power plant. So in our Karnataka we have a nuclear power plant in Kaiga. So this nuclear power plant, the main advantages of this nuclear power plant is, nuclear power is same as the coal, but it is not expensive to meet. The nuclear power does not produce the carbon dioxide, so it is environmental friendly, but it releases some radiations which is affects to human beings also, but it is environmentally, so we can say it does not produce the carbon dioxide. It does not produce any greenhouse gases or carbon monoxides. The producers in amount of energy from the small amount of sample. So it means that, so we can produce the large amount of energy from a small quantity of uranium-235. Next one is the hydro energy. So this hydro energy is considered as an indirect source of the solar energy. So this is renewable energy source. So it will not depleted, it will not exhaust. So after the usage or consumption, the river water can be stored in a large dams and it can be used in a controlled way to produce the electricity. So here this is the conventional source, so which is very important for the generation of electricity. Stored water is having the potential energy. That potential energy which is stored at the height is converted into kinetic energy. So that because of that kinetic energy, the water flows very fast and it turns the turbine. So here the kinetic energy gets converted into mechanical energy also. So that mechanical, because of that mechanical energy, the turbine rotates. The hydraulic turbine converts the energies of flowing water into mechanical energy. The hydroelectric generator, it converts the mechanical energies into electrical energy. So advantages of hydroelectricity: the low cost production of electricity, the no waste is produced, no pollution, and large amount of electricity can be produced. In today's sessions, so we studied about the conventional energy sources, so that is mainly of the fossil fuels, nuclear energy and hydro energy. In the next session, so we would study about the non-conventional energy sources. Thank you.